What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Stella Herself podcast. It is the first day of fall today. I usually record it on Wednesday, but today is a Tuesday, and I'm going to post on Thursday. So the day that I'm filming this or recording this is first day of fall, and sorry, I don't know. I never know. Like I've said before, I'm not an audio engineer. I usually try to keep the AC off when I'm filming, but I just went to get my coffee, and I was just so hot. I feel like already I'm just always hot. So excuse the AC being on, but again, I won't know until I'm editing this if I can really hear it. So anyway, who's excited for fall? I tweeted this on my second Twitter, but I kind of feel like people who are like obsessed with fall and like Disney adults are kind of in the same category. Like, people get so obsessed with fall. And if you're one of those people, like, good for you. But I just have never really been able to relate. Like, I can enjoy it, but I'm just, like... People get obsessed with fall. I know you know what I'm talking about. And, like, pumpkin spice lattes. And someone made a fan cam of, like... you know the girls that, like the fall girls? And they wear, like, those boots and, like, wear, like, the hat... and, like, a little flannel. And they always have their hair in, like, a ponytail that's, like, curled. And they love pumpkin spice lattes, like, so much. But someone made a video. It was, like, the funniest shit. Because I know everyone knows, like, that type of girl. Like, whether in high school or in real life. Like, it's... I don't know. I personally feel like pumpkin spice only belongs in candles. And even that, it's more so about, like, the spice for me, or like I don't know, like the cinnamon smell, but not too sweet. Like, I just feel like, yeah, I don't know. I've said this before. Y'all know me. I'm just not a huge like holidays person. I'm not like, I just don't care. Like, I'm just like, get over it. It's literally like, I don't know. Let me know if you can relate. I feel like a lot of it has to do with just how I was raised, and I feel like my parents, like especially my mom, just has very, like we were just always taught that, like, you know, not like it's consumerism, it's like about materialism, it's like, yeah, okay, but like we would do it, but it was never like, I don't know, just seeing people now and seeing like how much some of my friends get into like decorating their homes and stuff, I just like we would do that, but it's just not the same. Like, I just can't relate. I'm just like, I don't. Or like my mom, like I don't think I ever believed in Santa, and my mom would always just be like, Santa Claus is a spirit, like it's about the spirit of giving and like the vibes. like that's how I was raised, you know. So funny. But yeah, I'm still excited that it is fall though, just for the sheer fact that I'm sick of having my AC on, and I'm so sick of these super hot days, dude. It's literally climate change, like literally. And I feel like even, like I've lived here for what, 3-4 years now? I think even in like 4 years ago, 3 years ago, it wasn't this hot for this long. Like, yeah, there would be like a week or like a few weeks here and there where it would be really hot, but it feels like every week it's hot as fuck. But this past weekend was the first weekend where I really noticed at night I like felt cold for the first time. And like, yeah, it wasn't cold, but I like felt it. So I am excited for that aspect of it. And I do like to be able to wear a jacket sometimes. It's just kind of annoying to feel like you don't have anything to wear because you're just going to be too hot. Like, I hate that. So I am excited for that. It just felt like the summer was like so short but so long at the same time. I don't know. I feel like September has felt really long too, but also not. I don't know. I feel like we always start this podcast off talking about but talking about like how time is just like weird. I don't know. But I mostly wanted to talk about Libra season because it's the first day of fall, but it's also the first day of Libra season as of today, September 22nd. So I feel like everyone has signs that like they attract, or like everyone has signs that trigger them, or maybe signs that like, oh, I always attract this sign, or I just know more about these signs, or like, oh, I grew up in a house with these signs, so I just know more about them. I grew up with a Libra. My mom's a Libra. Shout out to her. We'll get into that. But I feel like in general, like, I just don't really have that much experience with Libras. I've never really had any friends that were Libras that I can think of. The most iconic Libra I can think of is David Dominique. He's like just the perfect example of a Libra and like aesthetics and beauty, honestly. Like, if you just look at his Instagram or watch any of his videos, you know, he's like, Paris is my favorite. Dude, love him so much. Like, such an icon. Genuinely, such a genuine person. But yeah, like, I've never talked to a Libra guy. So I'm just kind of like, whatever. Like, I don't have beef. Like, I just, whatever. I feel like, so I guess with that being said, it's like, let me know. Is Libra a sign? Whether you are a Libra or maybe you're not, but like, are you triggered by Libras? Or like, do you always attract them? Like, I don't know. Everyone just has like different stuff. I feel like for me, in my earlier years, I was just always attracting water signs, and now it's more like earth signs. I feel like it's always been the two, or I find out that like someone has water in their big three or earth in their big three or something. That's just more my vibe, and I feel like, you know, everyone's going to attract different things based on your own chart and like what you are, but then also what you lack, so you attract it. I don't know. I feel like of all the air signs, probably Gemini is the one that I have had the most experience with as far as both a friendship and like, not relationship, but like dating or like talking to someone. Otherwise it's just kind of like air signs. Like, I can be friends with one, but I just don't relate. Like, I pretty much have no air in my chart, so I'm just kind of like, sometimes it's cool, but I feel like someone needs to have like earth in their chart as well for me to really like fuck with you, because otherwise I'm just like, I literally can't relate like at all. Because yeah, I'm a Leo, but I'm mostly water and earth, y'all. Like, it just makes sense why I attract what I attract. Anyway, so let me know what your personal tea is on Libras, and I asked people on Instagram to like submit what they think of Libras, and I love doing that. I think I did that for Virgo season as well, but I'm gonna start doing it for like every sign at the start of the season, because it's just so funny to see people's like different takes on the sign. Like, some people are like, best ever, love them, and then some people are like, scum of the earth, I hate them. It's just really goes to show everyone has different experiences with everything. But Libra season as a whole, in general, I'm just going to tell you what I know in general, and let me know if you can relate or not as a Libra. But I feel like Libras are just very, so basically their planet is Venus, which is the planet of love and beauty, and I feel like Libras just are all about aesthetics. And I just know growing up with my mom, like, she would be so upset if things didn't like look nice in the house. Which like I'm grateful for now, because now I'm like, my house needs to be clean. It's kind of like a Virgo, but with a little like razzle dazzle, almost. But it's more about the beauty rather than like the like practicality. Like, I need things to be organized. But their sign is the scales. So I just know, like, I remember growing up, and I feel like I've said this before, whether it was in a podcast or a video, but they're all about like balance and harmony and beauty. So if me and my sister were like fighting growing up, my mom would like say my sister would like take something, she would always fucking take my shit, steal my shit. I'm not like that. I'm not going to take your shit. I'm going to ask. She would just come in my room, take my makeup, take my clothes, and like hide it from me and like pretend like she never saw it in her life. And my mom would like, you know, yell at her or whatever, but then she would be like, you know, you, like, she would also, it's just a mom thing, but it just always reminds me of like a Libra thing. Like, it had to be balanced. Like, she had to like tell each of us something, even though I was not in the wrong, but like stuff like that, balance, harmony. But then I also read something, I feel like it was a tweet. I'm looking at this article, but I think it was a tweet that said, you know, because it's a sign of beauty and love, like, and it's an air sign, they can come off as kind of like superficial, or just very, I guess superficial does kind of mean like on the surface, because sometimes going deeper means that, you know, you may have to face ugly truths or ugly realities, or just like, you know, it's not going to be all like glittery. Also, I read I think from Star Heel on Twitter, you know, the sign before Libra is Virgo, which is a sign that's very about like servicing others and doing things for others. And then Scorpio, the sign after Libra, is about controlling others or like dominating others. So Libra's in the middle and Libra's about balance. So it's like both. So I think that's very interesting. And yeah, shout out to the Libras. You know, they just love aesthetics. They love beauty. They love balance. They love air signs. So, you know, going to be sociable, probably. Going to be flirtatious, probably. These are just like general things. But I found this article on Oprah. OprahMag.com, y'all. Can you believe it? Because y'all know we talked about, I think it was last week, Mars retrograde and Mercury retrograde. Mercury is going retrograde on October 5th. So already we may be starting to like feel some of that. Don't panic. If you listen to the Celebrate podcast, you know Mercury retrograde or any retrograde is not a time to panic. It's a time of reflecting, reviewing, thinking. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a time where your life has to fall apart unless it's necessary, unless it's for like a rebirth of something better. So this article talks about Libra season and how, you know, this Mars retrograde and Mercury retrograde is going to have an impact, like all of it combined. In general, Libra brings awareness to the importance of pleasure, beauty, and exchanging pleasantries. Having both Mercury and Mars retrograde at the same time means that we will have more than usual the amount of issues to rethink and rework. So Mars, as we talked about, I think it was last week, when Mars is retrograde, it asks us to review the ways in which we are using our energy. When Mercury is retrograde, the planet of communication, whereas Mars is the planet of action, desire, and aggression. So Mercury when it's retrograde, likes to bait us into thinking we've got it all figured out. So like we feel like we want things to go our way at our pace. And sometimes it's like things are just out of our control. So I guess it's about like accepting that. So yeah, this combination highlights the unusual and inventive. The unusual and the inventive as much as it does the chaotic and disruptive. But it doesn't bode well for operations running smoothly or consistent. Yeah. So it's going to be a lot. And then I kind of hate when they do like, this is how it's going to impact you based on your sign. Because I feel like to really know, you have to do your whole chart. Like your just sun sign is so generalized. But I guess just like going into this next month, because I think we have a little more than a week of September left. Going into October, you know, I just think it's going to be a time of like I feel like it's going to be a transition time into like the next chapter for us. And you can think of that as like in a personal way, how it's going to affect you personally, and maybe like how you communicate with others and how you are in relationships, what kind of relationships you attract, how you communicate within your relationships. But then also, you know, on a wider scale too, like, you know, we have the election coming up. There's just like a lot of changes, obviously, this year, a lot of stuff being exposed, a lot of disruption that, you know, I like to think hopefully is going to lead to change and like a better world. Fuck y'all. Sometimes I feel like this shouldn't really be getting to me sometimes. Sometimes I just have so much anxiety, and I feel like it really comes out. This is like, it's off topic, but it's not. But it really comes out like when I'm about to go to sleep, and I feel like I never really used to experience that before. Like I would have anxiety like in my day-to-day life, but it wouldn't be like my thoughts going crazy. And now I feel like that happens to me a lot more, and I feel like it's just because of the way life is these days, and just like how uncertain these times of uncertainty. No, but how uncertain everything seems, and just it's weird. And I have just been trying to like check in with myself, like, yo, like it's okay to feel like this, because it's like it's weird, like, you know. But I feel like sometimes stuff affects us more than we think. So just like checking in, hey, like, am I like having more crazy thoughts than usual? Is it hard for me to go to sleep? You know, am I like turning to alcohol more? Am I like not wanting to get out of bed in the morning? Just like little things, because it's like I feel like that's kind of where stuff can come out. Fuck. It's just been a weird ass year. Anyway, back to Libra season. Fuck. Yeah. So it's going to be very interesting. Normally I feel like I want to say Libra season. Well, actually, let me read y'all the tweet. Star Heel, love her so much. The sun in Libra for the next month shifts our focus to close partnerships of all types. Cooperating and sharing experiences become greater priorities. Self-growth is fueled by others. So again, air sign, sociable, relationships, sign of love. And that can mean like relationships, like romantic relationships, but also just like relationships with your friends and family and peers. So normally I'd be like, ooh, a time of flirtation and like he. And low-key, when I asked you guys to spill tea on my IG, like, a lot of people were saying, like, oh, my hookup is acting like my boyfriend, or, like, I have a first date, or, like, this, that. But I feel like also just with Mercury retrograde, Mars retrograde, maybe it'll be about reflecting on relationships. And, again, like, how we are in relationships, how we communicate in them. And I just feel like that's what I've been doing so much of. So I'm just interested to see, at least personally, like, what happens this next month. I need to journal about this, dude. But just as far as, like, realizations and, I don't know, I feel like I've just been thinking a lot about, like, patterns in relationships that I have, or, like, why things haven't worked out with, this person or whatever, and, like, things I can do differently, and just a lot of reflection and realizations. And I feel like this past week, I feel like I say this every week, y'all, but I feel like this past week I just had a lot of realizations about myself and like why I act the way that I do, or like why I am the way that I am, why I attract certain types of people, or like whatever. And so I'm interested for this Mercury retrograde and Mars retrograde and in Libra season to kind of see how much deeper I guess I can go with like my self-realizations. So let me know if you guys have been thinking about that at all. If not, whatever, but if you have, know that I can relate. I just think it's so interesting. Bro, it's crazy because it's like at every moment, it's like the most you've ever known, and then like that's it. So just to know that like you can keep building on that and keep realizing things about yourself, and like I want to say get better, but not so much that as like have realizations. Oh. Yeah. It's just like, wow. Life is like weird. Like, I don't know. Anyway, what do we want to talk about next? I have like 2 other little topics that I've been thinking about. Oh, I guess this kind of relates. This could be the segue. But I feel like we talk a lot on this podcast about boundaries and setting them and having, I guess, high standards. And it's not about having unrealistic standards or expectations, but, just having firm boundaries, and how, at least for me, and I know for some of y'all, it can be hard to set boundaries because it sometimes feels scary, or like you don't want to cause conflict, or you don't want someone to like be offended or be mad at you, or like try to like, I want to say threaten you, but that's not the word, like challenge you, like, you just don't want to start beef. I'm just very much like that. Like I just don't want to. And so I have been trying to push myself a lot more to like I feel like these past few years, honestly, to just get better at that. And I saw this little IG, I follow some therapists on Instagram, and they have good little it's just nice to see on your feed, I don't even scroll on Instagram like that anymore, but if it comes up at the top, I'll look at it. And it was basically like about setting boundaries, and there was like a column. So one column was like, instead of this, do this. And, it was just excuses like assume how someone's going to react, or like try to figure out what they're thinking, or like just do something like basically just that, different variations of that. And every single like do this on the other side was give them an opportunity to express their boundaries. You know, especially, you know, there's like setting boundaries for yourself, but then also things like asking for help or asking for a favor, or like just, you know, putting something out there that maybe you're kind of scared to. Like even like you like someone and you want to ask them to hang out, but then in your head you're like, what if they say no? They probably don't even want to. They probably don't even like me. Like, no. It's like, okay, you could, you know, dig yourself into this hole where you're just assuming what they're thinking or how they're feeling, which is never a good idea in any circumstance. Or you can put yourself out there and just give them an opportunity to share with you like how they're feeling or what their boundary is, or if they're comfortable with that, or if they are up for helping you or whatever. And just seeing that little graph, like just seeing it put that way, like gives someone else an opportunity to express their boundaries. It's like, oh my God, like that just makes it so much more simple. Like just that phrasing of it just clicked so much with me. I was like, dead ass. Cause like, I don't like when people, like I wouldn't like it if I found out that someone was just like assuming how I felt, or like, I'm not going to ask her because what if she is thinking this or feeling this, you know? I'd be like, why didn't you just ask me? And it's like easier said than done sometimes. But I think, you know, being on that side of it where like you are the one asking for help or asking someone to make plans with you or like for a favor, again, whatever it is, there's so many like examples, you know, that we could think of. Oh, you know, they're an adult. They're their own person. They will tell me. And I was talking with my mom about how, you know, I'm always going back to what we were talking about, 2 weeks ago, of being like the chill girl. And I feel like that's just like a problem that I've always had, like, because I just learned from a young age, like, it was ingrained in me, like, don't, you know, be chill, like, don't show them that you like them, like, don't, and it's bullshit, it's stupid, like, it's playing games, it's like not, it's just so surface level, and it just, I feel like never has worked for me. So I was talking with my mom about this as well, and she said something kind of similar to what the little IG post said, like, kind of, but she said, you know, it's one thing to ask someone to do something with you, or ask them for a favor, ask them for help, ask them on a date, whatever it is. And if they say no, or you're getting the vibe that they're not interested, you know, like if you ask someone to hang out and they're like, I'll let you know, or like, you know, it's like they're trying to be nice about it, but you're getting the vibe. It's like, okay. It's one thing to then continue to ask them. Like, I can understand, you know, maybe they actually were busy, so I'm going to try again. And, you know, if they keep saying no, you keep getting the vibe, that's, you know, being thirsty, or that's like being annoying. But if you're not even gonna like take the chance to ask whatever it is, or like shoot your shot, essentially, it's like you're just holding back on so much. You're like holding yourself back. You could be experiencing so much more, but instead you're like just assuming, oh no, they probably don't want to. Oh, I don't want to be thirsty. Like, oh, and it goes back to, again, I think I said this last week, but coming from a place of love rather than fear. And just at the end of the day, it's all about being comfortable in yourself. And it's like, okay, even if they say no, like, first of all, what am I scared of? Rejection? Bitch, let's practice handling rejection then. You know? It's an opportunity for that. And at the end of the day, if I'm actually comfortable with myself, that's not going to be the end of the world. Because if I am rejected or whatever, no, I can't do that for you. No, I don't want to hang out with you. No, I just can't make it that day. Whatever. It's like, okay, well, I have my own life. I have my own friends. I have my own work to do. Like, it's okay. I tried. I asked. At least I shot my shot. So just all these like realizations in that sense. And yeah, I just really love that. I just feel like I keep seeing things and hearing things, seeing things on my timeline that are related to this when your phone listens to you. No, but it's just really making me realize, like, okay, like this, it's really starting to click for me, and I'm really starting to like actively practice this, like, honestly, every day, you know, just, yeah, because it's just always like, if this has never been an issue for you, like, good for you, but it's always like, fuck, I've always just been like, Oh, it's just been my biggest struggle in my whole life, like, internally, you know? So let me know if you can relate and if any of that clicked, and if you have anything to share, if you've heard anything, if anything has ever really, like, clicked for you. But I just love that. I love that feeling of, like, oh, that's it. And literally the whole week, ever since I heard that, like, move from a place of love, not fear, it's like I just keep thinking about it and repeating it to myself, and, like, it just keeps on making sense. And I ask myself, like, if I'm scared to do something, or, like, scared to put myself out there or ask someone something, like, I just ask myself, am I coming from a place of fear right now? And, like, why? Like, what am I scared of? It just feels really good. So hopefully Mercury retrograde, Mars retrograde, but especially Mercury retrograde, since it's the planet of communication and whatnot, leads to even more realizations and reflections. You know, I've been trying to journal a lot, as I said last week. But yeah, nothing like it. And I feel like I'll just have even more of these since it is Libra season officially now, and it's like about love or whatever, relationships. Just like, fuck, man. Life, I feel like life's just like unlearning stuff, learning stuff, unlearning stuff. Like, something else I wanted to talk about is someone said, I'm sure y'all know about pick-me's, like, especially on Twitter, and I feel like I've talked about it before on here, but, you know, a pick-me is, like, usually a girl that will, a woman, a person that will essentially put other women down in order to look good for a guy or make a guy like them. Like, it's like, oh, pick me, don't pick them, pick me. Like, oh, these other hoes go out and expect men to pay for their drinks, but I stay home and I buy bottles for my man because that's just the kind of woman I was raised to be. That's the woman, that's what a woman should really do. Like, they just don't make them like me anymore. It's like, you're literally putting down everyone else. So someone tweeted, you know, if pick-me's want to be like that, you should just let them. And it's anti-feminist to put them down for their choices because you don't live like that. Someone quote tweeted it and was like, calling someone out for misogyny is not anti-feminist, because essentially at the end of the day, like, a pick-me is, you know, that thought process or that behavior or that mindset is rooted in misogyny. You know, women aren't allowed to do what they want. Women have to, like, be a good wife, be a good mother, and that's it. And if you're living your own life, living for yourself, if you're out here, like, guys are paying for your shit and you're like, yes, and you know, have high standards or fucking have specific standards that you look for, and it's just like, like, why aren't women allowed to live for themselves? Like, why is it, like, so shocking? Like, oh my god, what is your family gonna think? What are your kids gonna think in the future? It's like, you don't even know if she's planning to have kids. Like, why do you bring that up? Why can't you just live for yourself now? It's just like I was thinking about that earlier today, just with the whole, like, WAP thing and how triggered so many people got by that. And it's like, this is what y'all are gonna be offended by? Like, there's so much hatred in the world and, like, fucking bullshit, and you're gonna get mad at women singing about their fucking wet ass pussy? Like, how is that offensive? They're talking about their own bodies. Like, how is that offensive to you? Like, that's just so, it's like, okay, yeah, that's not to say, like, everyone has to, like, do that, but you don't have to, like, put people down or, like, try to make yourself, like, And it just kind of goes into, like, you know, we can get even more specific, you know, when it comes to sex workers and how, especially a lot of celebrities, shout out to Raquel Savage on Twitter. She has, like, a little article she made, she has an article she made about this. She wrote about this, but just how, you know, especially a lot of celebrities and just in general people, you know, really want to capitalize off of the hoe aesthetic and, like, yeah, he pays for everything, like, but at the end of the day, you're still, like, whorephobic, I think is the word that she uses, like, but I'm not actually a hoe, like, I'm not, you just want to separate yourself from it, but it's like you want kind of the vibe, but you're, like, too scared. It's like, what if at the end of the day I'm alone because I'm not living by the traditional standard of a woman has to wear a maxi skirt and cook dinner. You know? So I feel like, you know, I don't want to blame women for this mindset, because at the end of the day, we're literally taught from birth that, like, we are less than, and, like, everything. Like, I saw another tweet that was like, how come men don't need any, for the most part, you know, need a lot less validation than women? Like, how come women are always seeking validation? And it's like, because we're literally, what would the word be, devalidated? Unvalidated? From birth, where it's like, yeah, well, like, we're constantly questioning ourselves, and you just have to look at, like, the sheer fact of how many products and beauty products are advertised towards women and marketed towards women, and guys have like 6 in 1, and that's it. It's like, you're perfect as you are, little Jim Bob. Like, well, maybe you, you know? And yeah, just like, boys and girls are raised very differently, and it's just like, sometimes I just think, like, so much bullshit is just taught to us, and it's not real. And the fact that people just want to believe the not real stuff so bad, it's like, you don't have, like, everything's fake. Everything is fake. And I feel like everything is fucking rooted in racism and misogyny and fucking, like, everything. Like, someone brought up today, like, why are tattoos and piercings deemed unprofessional when they're a part of so many, like, traditional cultures? It's like racism. It's like everything. It's like, just think outside the box for 1 second. Like, stop. Like, just stop looking. Stop thinking this way, and just, like, expand your mind. Like, I don't know. Yeah. It's like, everyone's in their bubble, and people are just gonna, like, do what's comfortable and, like, do what they're taught, what their parents taught them. I feel like I was very lucky to be raised by people who were open-minded and who, like, exposed me to new cultures at a young age, and, like, I just feel like that really made me the person I am today. So it's like, I guess I say that in the way of, like, I don't know what it's like to, like, grow up in an environment where that kind of, like, closed-mindedness is really taught, because to go against that, like, that must be crazy. And I know people do it, but I guess just in the sense of, like, you know, you have your bubble, and that's, like, what you know, that's safe, that's, like, anything outside of that is kind of, like, weird. Because I know that it's, like, everyone that I fuck with, anyone that I follow is gonna think that WAP is dope, or they're just not gonna care, like, you know? So to see someone else, like, oh my god, so offended, it's like, that's crazy to me. But then everyone thinks everything is crazy that's not in their bubble, you know? It's like, how are we gonna, you know, it's like, we live in a society, how do we stop? Fuck. Anyway, not to keep checking my phone, but fuck, I'm waiting on a text. Not to support Starbucks, but this is a grande double shot on ice with almond milk, no 2% milk, and 1 pump of classic syrup. It's really great. I guess that's all I have to say, to be honest. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about Libra season. Let me know if you have been having any realizations. Let me know if you're excited for Libra season or not. I think it's going to be interesting. I'm just interested. I'm intrigued. I kind of want to know what's going to happen. Follow my little side Twitter if you want the real tea. And yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. Put this on your IG story. Tag me. I'll repost it. Tweet it to me. I'll retweet you. Y'all already know the vibes. Thank you so much for listening and supporting and watching the vlogs. I'm so excited to post my new vlog tomorrow. It's like so cute. Like last week was really cute. It was a lot. I felt like I was busy every day, and I haven't felt like that in like a while, but it was a good vlog. It was cute. I felt productive. The capitalism, the internalized productivity grind never stops. No. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next episode. Love y'all. Love y'all so much. Bye.